Michael Hill survived an 11-inch hunting knife through the head. But could he survive surgeons yanking it back out? A horrific train accident cost Willie McQueen his legs. But that didn't keep this gutsy young man from living out his hoop dreams and gridiron glory. Darren Carter will attempt something no one's ever tried. He'll walk a moving rope 200 feet in the air, or plummet to the ground trying. Plus, the man who risks having his arm torn off every time he goes to work. And these sexy women hit the bottle to create an amazing second skin. Unbelievable? Believe it. On Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Welcome to Ripley's Believe It or Not. We begin tonight not with an ancient artifact, but rather a recent photograph. Actually, it's an X-ray. An X-ray that captured a miraculous story of survival. This picture is easily worth 1,000 words, starting with the phrase, knife in the head. Please be advised that some of these images you're about to see are explicit and not for the squeamish.
Like a lot of guys, truck driver Michael Hill was a hard-working man.
My father was very independent. He loved his job for over 20 years.
Looking forward to his daughter's wedding, Michael had a lot of big plans. But Michael never planned on this. An 11-inch hunting knife thrust deep into his skull.
Normally, when we see somebody with this type of injury, we expect them to be dead.
Michael's nightmarish ordeal started with a visit to his sister's house. Expecting a friend, he answered the door, only to be greeted by a knife-wielding madman.
We kind of looked at each other and we're like, wow, this is it's a Rambo knife, a survival knife. So we're like, okay, this is a real bad injury.
Rescue workers immediately rushed Michael to the hospital, but his sister Kathy was convinced that her brother had been dealt a fatal blow.
The ambulance people said he wasn't gonna make it. When I heard it and saw what I saw in my house, I didn't think he was gonna make it.
Michael's sister and daughter, Wanda, quickly rushed to his side.
I couldn't believe what had happened. It was very serious. I never seen anything like it, never.
When I went to see him, he was just laying there. Didn't know who I was, wasn't woke. Wasn't moving nothing. All I seen was his head bandaged up. Didn't know what was under the head.
Although stabilized for the moment, the knife is in an extremely delicate position.
Anything that touches the brain has the potential to kill you. And this knife was inside the brain, so I was concerned that he would go at any minute.
It isn't long before X-rays reveal the worst. The knife is so deep, it will most likely affect parts of the brain controlling memory and response. And to complicate matters, the assault knife's serrated edge will probably tear brain tissue while being removed.
Be able to move his head? Can he move his head?
Doctors waste no time. Watching this actual footage, we can see Michael's head being shaved, sterilized, and prepped for immediate surgery.
They didn't know if he was gonna make it. It was a 24-hour wait to see.
If he does live, will he be paralyzed? Will he be brain damaged? The surgery is dangerous and Michael will lose blood quickly. And it's all complicated by the fact that the knife is tightly held in place by bone. Doctors must first remove several pieces of Michael's skull. With the bone segments removed, the first critical incision can be made. The surgeon examines the position of the knife carefully. Success of the surgery comes down to this critical moment. One quick move will determine whether Michael lives or dies. Unbelievably, the knife dislodges smoothly. But Michael isn't out of danger yet. there's still no way to predict the amount of brain damage he will suffer.
A foreign object in the head could affect your brain to the point where it could be doing anything to your state of consciousness.
For the next several days, Michael is monitored closely. Then, miraculously, the man with an 11-inch knife in his brain opens his eyes.
I recall the paramedics saying he won't make it, and then at that point I blanked out, and then when I came to 7 days later, I was in the hospital.
We were all, excited that he was alive and just amazed.
Today, for the first time, Michael Hill is taking into his hands the knife that almost took his life. One look at the horrifying weapon sends a chill through Michael's body.
I've never seen a knife at all to this day. I mean, goodness. I just don't understand what would make that guy do that. That's one of the haunting things, and it still haunts me all the time. Why?
And although Michael may never know why, he says he has made his peace, even with the man now in prison for assaulting him. Except for some occasional headaches, he is fully recovered, and he realizes he's cheated death by mere millimeters.
Are you ready to go to work this morning, aren't you?
Yes, ma'am.
These days, Michael contributes his time to the Justice Coalition, a local advocacy group helping other innocent victims of violent crimes. And recently, Michael was even able to take that walk down the aisle to give away his beloved daughter, Wanda.
He was talking to me. He told me, "I'm here for you." And that made me very proud and happy.
I know that I have my health. I'm just grateful, and I wish that people can understand that you need to be closer to your family, and that love will grow.
What's almost as unbelievable as Michael surviving being stabbed in the head is the fact that the camera crew was coincidentally in the ER to capture every moment on tape. Now, alligator or crocodile? Actually, this is a gator. Crocs have a nasty overbite and are more dangerous. They have extremely strong jaws that can snap your arm off like a twig, which makes this next guy, who puts his hand down their throats for a living, even more unbelievable.
They are mysterious primordial beasts, virtually unchanged for millions of years. But now one daring doctor is revealing their secrets while helping them survive. To learn more about these reptilian killers, Australian croc doc Adam Britton plants a small scientific device inside their stomachs. And believe it or not, he risks having his arm ripped out of its socket every time he retrieves one. And although Doc usually finds plenty of small game inside, on the day Ripley's caught up with him, Doc would find something much more surprising. Adam Britton's obsession for the overgrown lizard started when he was young.
I've been interested in crocodiles since I was 6. I'm 29 now. I've really been working with crocodiles since my mid-teens.
Now one of Australia's leading crocodile specialists, Doc works daily with these cold-blooded, highly unpredictable animals. In these crocodile close encounters, Doc uses a kind of fertility thermometer known as a logger to gather information about how female crocs lay their eggs.
We're using the loggers to record the internal temperature of the female. We want to know whether she's keeping her eggs at the right temperature when she's still got them in her body.
Getting the logger inside a crocodile is easy enough. Doc disguises it in some raw chicken. But getting it back is a little more complicated and a lot more dangerous. The traditional way involved tying the croc's razor-sharp jaws open. But the crocs proved too powerful, regularly snapping the ropes.
Crocodiles are very good at exerting a huge amount of power in a short period of time. So they'll sit there and they'll wait, and suddenly, bang, they'll explode.
So to ensure his safety, the croc doc came up with a plan. In addition to the ropes, the reptile is given a sedative.
I'll give it just below a full dose.
But since the effect of tranquilizers on crocodiles is unpredictable, Doc never knows when the beast will snap out of its deep sleep and snap off his arm.
They're just into the throat. She might wiggle a bit as we do this. She's thinking, great, now I get to eat him.
Unbelievably, the good doctor proceeds to slide his entire arm down the crocodile's mouth.
If she were to grab onto my hand, then if she were to whip her head like that, and particularly if she starts rolling, which is one of the most dangerous things a crocodile can do, she could probably pull my arm off, just twist it out of the socket.
Even tied up, this animal has the biting power of 2,000 to 3,000 pounds per square inch. The risk is very real.
Okay, I got my finger right at the entrance to the stomach now.
While looking for loggers, Dr. Britton has discovered that his crocodiles aren't finicky eaters.
There's quite a few things in here, yeah. I can feel some things in here.
But today, Ripley's documents a surprising discovery. A baby's pacifier.
Unbelievable. Well, look at that. Well, I think that's a record. I don't think I've ever found one of those before.
Despite how it may appear, Doc assures us there's no baby attached to that pacifier. It most likely was dropped by a visitor leaning over the ledge to get a closer look.
So we sometimes pull some interesting things out.
After several attempts, Dr. Britton finally locates the logger.
Yes. Hey, success.
The doctor, having cheated fate another time, takes the prized logger to his office, connects it to a computer, then analyzes the results.
What we're seeing here is all the temperature information which has been downloaded from the data logger.
And although making the world a better place for crocodiles means putting himself in constant danger, Dr. Britton wouldn't have it any other way. Because being the Croc Doc lets him get up close and personal with the animals he loves.
I think when you're obsessed by crocodiles, you want to get close to them. To put my arm down the animal's throat is just, I think, the ultimate expression of that.
Did you happen to notice those teeth? Crocodiles continually shed their pearly, razor-sharp smile, which means that they never, ever have a cavity. We'll be right back. When Willie McQueen was 8 years old, he foolishly played chicken with a freight train and lost both his legs. Willie could have spent the rest of his life sitting on the sidelines feeling sorry for himself, and nobody would have blamed him. But a gutsy coach threw him a football, and today Willie is a local hero.
14-year-old Willie McQueen is a middle school student filled with determination and desire. And just like other kids his age, Willie loves sports. But there is one thing that sets him apart from his teammates. You see, this amazing athlete is missing his legs. Since he was old enough to walk, Willie dreamed of playing in the NFL. But those dreams were shattered when he was only 8. While playing on train tracks, Willie got caught under a moving train, instantly severing a leg. He begged doctors to save his remaining leg, but it had been too badly damaged. It was a tragic loss, and for someone so young, Willie had to go through some very tough times. But rather than allow his life and his dreams to just pass him by, Willie battled back.
One day I just got off the couch and I started moving around. Then that's how I found out that I can move, so I started moving like that.
Over the course of the next year, Willie began moving around as though his accident had never happened. In fact, he became so mobile, he decided to try something no one would have imagined.
I play basketball because I can get steals and I got nice defense, and every now and then I make a couple of shots.
Playing against athletes twice his size and aiming for a basket that's 10 feet high, Willie showed he could compete on the court. He even considered a three-point threat. Amazingly, Willie then took on the rough and tumble contact sport he dreamed of playing his whole life.
I just always wanted to be a football player.
In his first year at Southwest Academy, football coach Adrian Phillips came face to face with Willie.
When he came in, he said, "Coach, I'm here to play football." Because I believe that if you can dream it, you can become it. I wanted to take the chance on him.
After getting the okay to play from Willie's doctors, Coach Phillips began mapping out a special strategy for his newest full-time player. And although Willie would soon get his big chance, he would not be getting any special privileges.
The first day I saw Willie in pads, I told him that this is going to be the day you prove to me. You either make yourself or you break yourself.
Never using any prosthetics, Willie immediately proved his worth on the field. In a game all about size, strength, and mobility, his 3-foot frame had its advantages. Unbelievably, in his very first game on his very first play, Willie sacked the quarterback.
He wanted to see what I can do out there on the field, so I proved that I can play football.
A quarterback sack is rare even for the pros. In Willie's case, it was truly unbelievable.
Well, he plays defensive tackle, and one of the ways that Willie is good at that position is the fact that he can get through the holes. Once he got to the quarterback, he could actually hit the quarterback.
On the football field, Willie proves time and again that whatever he lacks in size, he makes up for in heart.
Willie is very inspirational. He makes a lot of people see things and that they usually won't see.
Despite Willie's amazing athletic accomplishments, around school he just wants to be one of the guys. And while he hopes to inspire others, Willie McQueen wants nothing more than to be treated just like everyone else.
I don't want nobody to feel sorry for me, and I ain't gonna feel sorry for myself. I'm inspiring people to do things that they want to do, but they're afraid to do it. But just don't be afraid, just go out and try.
That is one tough kid. Willie played in all 5 games this season and had 6 sacks. Don't go away.
The motorcycle daredevil, out to try the impossible. Can he pull off a 360-degree backflip without breaking his neck?
If you mess up from that high, you're really going to get hurt.
Plus, the darling little dachshund convinced she's given birth to a family of cordless phones. And these women are about to paint the town red by painting on their slick new wardrobe.
I love it. The more you wear it, the more comfortable you feel with it.
On Ripley's Believe It or Not. Little Puget is a typical 3-year-old miniature long-haired dachshund, except Puget actually thinks she is the mother to 3 cordless phones. Puget's owner says her little dog went into heat and experienced a false pregnancy, leaving her without a litter to care for. So Puget's maternal instincts were transferred to these telephones. Ever the dutiful mother, she tends to the ringing phones as if they were cries from her own puppies.
It's really unbelievable. I mean, the phone, and especially when it rings, that's what really sets her off. I think she thinks it's her baby crying.
For this reason, Puget has monopolized the family's phones. It has been especially difficult for the Salmons because they run a business out of their home. But Puget's strange behavior is bound to pass, according to experts.
The vet says it's just a psychological thing that she'll work through and nothing that needs any medical attention.
Puget is expected to cut the cord with her adopted litter in the next 4 weeks. Until then, she's getting good practice for motherhood when Puget someday gives birth to the real thing.
Carey Hart is considered off the hook in the world of motocross and extreme game competitions. He does things on his motorcycle that most people can't imagine. And this guy's most amazing feat was performed nearly 30 feet in the air. Carey is the only person in the world to ever complete a backflip on a motorcycle, a maneuver experts thought to be impossible until now.
In the world of freestyle motocross, few riders have created as many breathtaking, death-defying moves as wildman Carey Hart. But what really sets this thrill seeker apart from the crowd is his passion for attempting the impossible. In this case, a full 360-degree backward flip, a move no one's ever completed successfully.
If you mess up from that high, you're really going to get hurt.
Las Vegas resident Kerry Hart started riding motorcycles almost as soon as he could walk. He was already racing them by the age of 4. His bravado quickly launched him to the top of the amateur supercross circuit. But at the age of 15, the odds caught up with Kerry. While preparing for his final amateur race, a crippling accident almost cost him his life.
I came over the hill and just jumped right in the back of the tractor, hit the tractor, and broke both of my thighs in 6 places, my shin bone, my wrist. The bone came out, and I almost bled to death. It was a pretty bad deal.
It was touch and go throughout the surgery. After a tense 13 hours, the doctors finally had some good news. Kerry would live. The bad news, he would be lucky if he ever walked again. But Kerry had other ideas.
I mean, there's definitely no doubt in my mind, as long as I can get up and walk, I'll be back on my bike.
Kerry made what many consider a miraculous recovery, and within 3 months, the strong-willed teen was back on his bike and winning races. After turning pro, Kerry began to floor the freestyle motocross world with some truly amazing moves.
I was the first guy to do a Superman seat grab, which is the trick where you come off a jump, grab the seat, kick your feet out like in a Superman position, flat position.
This trick proved so remarkable, his competitors coin it the heart attack. Kerry quickly tops that with a maneuver dubbed the double heart attack, a mid-air handstand on the seat of his bike. Still, the young star remains unsatisfied, longing to fulfill his lifelong dream, completing a virtually impossible 360-degree full backflip.
Truthfully, I don't think there's a whole lot of people that really thought I was going to do it. I mean, like I said, I talked about it for a while, and when it came up, it was always like, oh yeah, okay, sure, cool, right on. But it's just one of those things I had to do for myself. I had to prove to myself that I could do it.
After careful consideration, the unstoppable showman decides to go for it. Kerry's father, a top freestyle track builder, works with his son to plan the feat.
I said, let's, figure out what you need to do scientifically to make this thing happen. My biggest concern was, is it physically possible to get a 230-pound motorcycle to make a 360-degree rotation and land the thing?
Kerry spends 2 years meticulously breaking down every dangerous aspect.
They have skate parks and these things called foam pitch where you can learn tricks without killing yourself. And went there, learned backflips on my bicycle.
But unlike a bicycle, the weight and suspension makes a motorcycle practically uncontrollable once it's rotating in the air. As physics professor Dr. Donald Jacobs explains, the jump would have to be a form of controlled chaos.
It's as dangerous as you can get because it's basically life-threatening. He needs to accelerate the bike quite a bit, and he's got to be very committed in order to flip backwards, which is what's going to get him to go in the rotation that he needs. If you have just one moment of hesitation, you may miss that jump.
30,000 people gather to watch the brave jumper attempt the risky feat.
Nobody's ever tried this before. It's a trick that, if you don't make it, it may be a career-ending try.
After inspecting the course, Kerry starts his ride. It's now or never.
I was just trying to stay really focused as I was preparing to do it. I was super nervous. I was actually really scared.
The whole time, everybody was in disbelief. But Kerry was 100% confident that he could pull this.
After rocketing away from the ramp, Kerry flies 35 feet into the air. 20 feet out, he pulls back on the bars for a full rotation. He then quickly begins a 3-story free fall towards Earth. And while his landing isn't picture perfect, it's solid enough to be considered a successful jump.
It knocked the wind out of me, but more than anything, I was just basically thrilled just to be in one piece, and the fact that I pulled it. Yeah, I was just so overwhelmed with adrenaline and emotions and everything at the time, but it slowly got worse and worse, and by the next day I could barely walk, and my back was just a wreck.
After risking it all for the stunt, now dubbed the Heartbreaker, Kerry at age 25 plans on retiring the backward flip. He's proven it's possible. Now, it's up to the next generation of Rough Riders to see if anyone can repeat what for Kerry was a once-in-a-lifetime feat.
I've definitely made my contribution to the sport, and I more or less want to take a couple of steps back and just really enjoy the last few years of riding, competitively.
Kerry is so popular amongst kids that he joins the likes of Michael Jordan and Britney Spears with his own action figure. Ripley's will be right back with a lot more. Whoa!
Next, the skin-tight outfit that pours straight out of the bottle and onto your body.
It's tight, but yet you don't have to worry about feeling constricted. It's like a second skin.
Plus, Darren Carter prepares to walk a rubber band-like rope 200 feet high.
One mistake and it's...
The walk so dangerous, one slip could kill him. It's all ahead in tonight's Ripley's Challenge. When most people think of worms, they think slimy, squirmy, grimy, and gross. When Brenda Fox thinks of worms, one word comes to mind: dinner. Believe it or not, this grown woman eats worms.
I don't believe my mother ever told me not to eat worms. Maybe she should have. Like I would have listened.
Yes, Brenda Fox truly appreciates these slimy invertebrates. A performance artist, she honors her favorite food in an enticing celebration fittingly known as the Worm Dance. It is an act in which she lures unsuspecting audience members to share these grotesque grubs.
Oh, we've had people pass out during performances, actually throw up. I guess it's kind of like a standing ovation when they throw up.
After the shock and disgust wear off, most people eventually ask, what do worms taste like? And believe it or not,
Worms don't taste like chicken. They taste like raw meat, a little bit bitter, but not completely unpleasant.
the worms are perfectly safe to eat. Still, dining habits like these can help but get Brenda noticed even when she isn't on stage.
Excuse me, can you pass this down to that lady right there?
Yeah, here, take it.
Come on. Thank you. Oh, I'm starved.
Yeah.
Is it crunchy?
No.
What? Oh my god.
I think they're real, man. They're moving.
Now that's an act that's hard to swallow.
There is a new designer on the fashion scene who has solved wardrobe storage issues once and for all. That's because his entire clothing collection comes out of a bottle.
Oh, yeah.
It's shiny, slick, and sexy, and it's the latest in extreme fashion. But you won't find this shockingly chic clothing line hanging on any rack, because believe it or not, these skin-tight creations are literally poured from a bottle. Jerry Pena and Jana Galbstein run one of the country's funkiest fashion businesses. For years, these two young designers experimented with unusual materials before discovering the wonders of liquid latex. This non-toxic concoction allows the skin to breathe, covering flesh with a thin layer of color. The clothing is a bold statement for those who dare to go almost bare.
When you wear it out, it has a sort of a sexy, sensual feeling because it's almost like wearing nothing at all. But you know that you're actually covered in a thin layer of latex, and the feeling can be very sexy, it can be fun, it's very attention-getting.
It's really fun. The more you wear it, you have the comfort and ease as if you were walking around naked, but yet you are wearing something.
A liquid latex night on the town begins with a quick moisturizing rub down. This prevents the latex from sticking to the skin.
It's really cold to the skin, but once it's actually on the skin, it feels like it's blending in.
Several quick-drying coats are needed to create a single sheet of rubber, taking about 1 hour. The wearer can use the 18 available colors in any combination to be assured of a one-of-a-kind outfit.
With liquid latex, you can have your own original design painted on, whereas you won't run into anybody else in a club or anywhere else on the street wearing the same exact outfit as you.
Although you can only wear it once, that hasn't stopped admirers from getting creative with it, even accessorizing.
You can do high fashion by seeing what's out there, seeing what the latest trends are, and painting your body in the liquid latex design that you like. And you can actually add on, say if you're going for a tight jacket with a fur collar look, you can attach that fur collar to the liquid latex.
Liquid latex fashions have caught on with the club-going crowd because after an evening of tearing it up on the dance floor, you can tear off these disposable clothes and start planning your next outfit. And even if you feel you don't have the body to pull off this revealing new look, designers say liquid latex is a one-size-fits-everyone clothing line.
We think everybody is a good candidate despite their shape, size, and form. It's an interactive product. We always say that Deviant liquid latex is as fun to paint on as it is to peel off.
It takes about 5 coats of the liquid to make a peelable skin. Ripley's will return momentarily.
Stories you can't imagine. People you won't believe. Ripley's Believe It or Not.
As spectacular as it can be, tightrope walking is sort of an old act. And most tightrope walkers have backup on their side, a net. Darren Carter is about to leave you speechless as he wobbles on a wire. But the nylon rope isn't tight. And although he is 15 stories above the pavement, there's no net.
Darren Carter is about to attempt an 80-foot walk that could cost him his life. That's because this walk of death is 15 stories high. And believe it or not, the 1-inch nylon rope that he's walking on stretches like a rubber band.
Am I slightly insane? You know, enough people have been telling me that. I don't think I'm broken, I'm just a little cracked.
It's a thrill-seeking new rush called slacklining. Walking from point A to point B on a wobbly rope. And while Darren's made slackline walks before, this one will make history. For the first time ever, Darren will go without safety equipment, 200 feet above a city street. There will be no trick camera angles. This is all real. Darren got his first taste of adventure as a member of his high school football team. After that, there was no stopping him.
Running the football makes you an adrenaline junkie. Having 11 guys try to slam you, I like the intensity, and so I started climbing after that. I've soloed El Cap, and I've climbed it with other people, and I progressed up until I started doing these high walks.
And for the past 8 years, Darren's been pushing slacklining to the limit. The first of his high-risk, high-altitude walks were done using a tether rope to keep him from falling to the ground. But Darren now feels confident enough in his abilities to take his chances without a safety leash.
I think I'm the best high walker right now. I can hold my own with anyone in the world doing this.
Here in downtown Long Beach, California, Darren will become the first person to ever try slacklining between buildings without a safety line. A treacherous 80-foot gap, 15 stories high.
I've never slacklined across buildings like this, and I don't believe anyone else has either.
The danger involved becomes obvious during an earlier practice run. With the slackline tied between two trees, Darren loses his balance and falls to the ground. The sobering fall is still fresh in Darren's mind as his team begins to rig the building one day before the big event.
It's an incredible feeling to hold your life in your hands like that. One mistake and...
Undeterred, Darren begins his high-altitude practice walk attached to a safety line. Ironically, the same tether that's designed to save him has now become tangled, threatening to knock him off the rope. Darren slowly becomes more comfortable with the setup, fine-tuning and adjusting the line for wind and weight.
We're gonna get all the bugs worked out of it and do a bunch of nuts and bolt stuff.
But the weather is one thing Darren has no control over. Since the forecast for the next day calls for high winds, Darren will try to complete the unleashed walk early tomorrow morning before strong gusts kick in.
The fact that we are on the ocean makes a few concerns for me. I need to bring my line in overnight so that it doesn't attract any moisture.
D-Day, 5 a.m. Darren and crew reset the slack line, hoping to make a few more practice walks before detaching the safety rope. Unfortunately, weather conditions take a turn for the worse.
It's a lot colder this morning. There's actually quite a breeze. Yesterday it was dead calm and it was warm.
Slackline rigger Barry Oswick explains what is about to happen as Darren prepares to take the first cautious step.
Okay, today's the big day. He's going to go untethered, so he'll be fully exposed, and it's well over 200 feet. There's no way in a million years I'd be doing something like this.
The Ripley's crew feel they need to give Darren one more chance to call it off.
I just got off the phone with the executive producers, and they're saying that they would encourage you to use the tether, but the decision is ultimately yours.
I'm feeling pretty good now, and we'll do a couple more runs, and the decision will be totally mine. I'll take all responsibility, and I appreciate that.
Darren's concerned girlfriend, Lorraine, can't help but be anxious.
I'm really excited. I want to see him do it. I haven't had a chance to see him even walk on the line, so just to get up there and see him walk on it will make me feel better.
In the silence before the walk, Darren takes a moment to compose himself.
I am pumped up like a caged animal. It's hard for me to just stand here and deal with this as I want to get to it.
Darren unhooks his lifeline and prepares to step away from the ledge.
I guess he's leaving, so...
He is now completely on his own.
Yours is better.
At 200 feet, Darren can't afford to lose focus for a split second.
I don't think I can.
It all becomes too much for his petrified girlfriend to bear.
I can't watch it. I don't think I can.
Come on. Come on. Come on. It's looking good. It's looking smooth.
Is he smoothing out?
He's through the middle, so
can't do it.
still looking good.
Remember, Darren's 15 stories high without a net or safety cable.
Yeah, he's very smooth. Yeah, he's very smooth.
Legs shaking, Darren maintains control. Darren Carter reaches the safety of the other side, accomplishing something no other human being has ever done before, slacklining from high-rise to high-rise without a net and cheating death along the way.
Hey, come here, bud.
Darren gives his relieved girlfriend a well-deserved hug.
as ugly as a stump.
The beginning scared the crud out of me, and I couldn't watch. I had to get away.
Watch again while Darren describes what was going through his head on the history-making non-tethered walk.
Wow, when it actually came time to do it, I just got out there. It just felt like a leashed one until I felt that wobble, and I thought, okay, Darren, get rid of this wobble because you're unleashed. This is the problem. What makes me feel good is that I fought through it. You know, it's not like you go, ah!
Darren Carter has successfully completed his unbelievable walk. And for once, this thrill seeker isn't planning his next stunt. For now, Darren is content to merely be alive.
Yeah! To be perfectly honest, I'm holding back tears. I promised myself I wouldn't cry on national TV. I think I'll save that for the family.
Good job. Next, this device promised to cure baldness if it didn't electrocute you first. Story when we enter the Ripley vault next. You're watching Ripley's Believe It or Not.
There have been few sciences more unscientific than medicine. From bleeding patients using leeches to drilling holes in human skulls to let evil spirits out. Now check this out. This was an over-the-counter item available through many catalogs in the 1880s. It was called a magneto-electric machine, and the idea was that you'd hook yourself up to your own personal electric shock treatment. Put your fingers in here, crank it up, and tingle your illness away. It was also supposed to cure baldness. According to the catalog description, the sensation of administering these electric shocks was declared to be not unpleasant. Unbelievable? Believe it.